Florida, phones their daughter in New Jersey and says, "Honey, I have bad news for you and your brother. Your mother and I have decided, after 52 years of marriage, that it's enough. We're getting a divorce. We're calling it quits and getting a divorce." His daughter yells, screams. "And what are you saying? We're not going to let you do that." Their father says, "No, we've had enough. We're getting tired of the same old routine and looking at each other every day. So I don't want to talk about it. So just call your brother in Detroit, let him know." And the father hangs up on the daughter. Panic-stricken, the daughter phones her brother, drops the bombshell about their mom and dad. No way. This will not happen. And he said, "Just stay close to the phone. I'm calling. I'm going to talk to him, handle this. I'll call you back as soon as possible." The brother phones his father and says, "Dad, sis just told me you're getting a divorce. You and Mom, what is wrong with y'all? Are y'all crazy? No way. We're not going to let this happen. We're just not going to let this happen. We're both booking planes tonight, flying down there to Florida in the morning so to help sort this out. Now, listen, don't do anything. Don't say anything. Don't make no plans. Don't do anything." And he got his dad to promise. He said, "Okay, we won't do nothing till y'all get here, but just come on. But we got our minds made up." So the kids got their plane tickets. They got to them. When the dad hung up, he turns to the wife. He said, "It worked." He says, "Not only are they going to be here in the morning for Thanksgiving, they bought their own tickets." Oh, Lord. That's pretty cool, don't you think? Kids buying their own plane tickets. In 1741, an old man was wandering the streets of London. His name was George Frederick Handel. At this point, he was an angry old man. His mind kept going back to the time when he was famous and had applauses of royalty and elite of London. But now his mind was full of despair and hopelessness about the future, for the applauses were gone. Others were now in the spotlight, and envy began to seethe him and possess him. Added to that, he was paralyzed on one side and he could no longer write. And doctors gave little hope for his recovery. The old composer began to soak in the bathtubs, which were said to have healing effects. Hot mineral baths seemed to help, and his health actually began to improve. A matter of fact, eventually he was able to write once more, and his success began to make a return. But then he faced another reversal. Queen Caroline, who had a supporter, died. England found itself on a hard economic times. Heating large auditoriums for concerts was not permitted. His performances were now concealed, and he began to wonder where God was. Then one night, as he returned from his walk, Charles Jennings was waiting at his home, and Jennings explained that he had just finished writing a text for a musical that covered about from the Old Testament to the New Testament, and believed that Handel was the man to set it, and music seemed to flow through him once more. The second part only took him 6 days to finish. Well, many of us will remember that when this classical work was first performed in London and the Hallelujah choruses was sung in the choir, King George, it said in history that King George II himself was so moved that he stood to his feet and prayed. To this day, he really beloved. He created, but he withdraws. That kind of God could not really be loved. Who could and who would love a remote when suffering is our lot, he writes. He